Hey, Coach, I know you talked about this a little bit right after last week's game, which feels like forever ago now, probably more so for you than us. But after looking at the film and kind of digesting the tape and whatever, can you give us a little bit of a hint at just what you guys can see to kind of learn from after going through a pretty difficult chore that was against the number one team in the country?
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw a lot of things we expected, and we just didn't manage them well. The one thing we know is that it's a good team. They're really, really versatile. They're incredibly skilled, and they can fabricate points in a lot of different ways. We were disappointed that they were way more physical than us. That was disappointing. We were disappointed. I did a poor job preparing the team to feel the right way. We didn't feel right from the start, and that's partly due to the Zags. I think they make a lot of people feel wrong, and it's partly due to us. But you hate when you walk away from games and you feel like, man, that wasn't even us out there. And certainly their length bothered us, which we expected. Their physicality bothered us, which we were surprised by. I thought we would have a better showing that way. They really inhibited our pace, and we just didn't respond well. It was almost like a reaction you would expect when the gym is full of 10,000 crazed fans, and it just gets you a little bit sideways. Except there was nobody in there, so that was a little bit surprising. But they're a terrific team. They've done that to everybody they've played this year, and collectively, somebody in college basketball's got to find the answer for them.
Hey, Coach. This is going to be just your second game in over 3 weeks. I'm sure you've never had to deal with anything like that. Now that we're almost here for this second game, what are the biggest challenges of just not playing games during such a long period of time?
Yeah, it's been super interesting for us because it was just a mad dash of games, and then we just basically went dormant, right? And so everybody is facing challenges this year. This is challenging for everybody. For us, we have to find a way to get back our urgency and kind of the desperation that we played with through the non-conference. And so it's something that we're talking about and working on. It's going to be a test of our locker room right now to see if we can stay dialed in, and we'll see, because this is probably the toughest. This is the toughest road week of our season. So it's a huge week for us, and we'll see how we respond.
All right, Jeff Call and Norma Gonzalez.
Coach, do you have an update on Wyatt Lowell and his status right now?
Yeah, so Wyatt tore his his Achilles, and just it's how it happens a lot. It's a non-contact play. It wasn't anything explosive. It was just he just was changing direction, and super unfortunate. Really, really, really tough situation. For anybody, but especially for Wyatt, having just barely been kind of, getting himself back after this labrum tear surgery. So, it's going to be another mountain for him to climb, but he'll do it well. He's a tough young man. He's really focused. He knows he has a really bright future in this game, and and he's holding on to all those things, kind of having to deal with this again.
Hey, Coach, we've talked a lot about Barcelo early on in the season and whatnot, but now that you guys have completed the non-conference portion and have finally started conference portion, what do you see from him that really made him stand out as a leader this year? And what do you think he brings that's so different and special than any of the other guys?
Well, he's been really, really assertive and really, really tenacious. Not in terms of manufactured numbers, but in terms of finding ways to lead this team. And he's been inexhaustible that way. And so it's all the little things that have made him a special leader of this group.
And after your loss to USC, that's when you guys kind of took a look at yourselves and figured out, like, hey, we need to get someone else scoring if Alex can't get to the basket. But it seemed like you guys kind of had similar problem against Gonzaga. What do you have to say about being able to continuously fix that problem, not just rebounding and then falling back into it?
Yeah, it's it's the Gonzaga game was we were disappointed with all of our performances. It was not necessarily an individual that was a letdown. More of us as a collective in terms of our approach, the pace and force we played the game with. From the tip, I mean, our first possession is a weird turnover up the boards where we kind of threw it into the other team's hands with no pressure, right? And so it was, as we evaluate that game, it's not really a matter of whether Alex was scoring or not. It was more about the way we felt and the energy we had in the gym. And those things are the things that weigh heavily on my shoulders. Good coaches are able to find ways to put their guys and their team in the locker room in the right state of mind in terms of energy-wise, and we didn't have it. It seemed from the tip we were a little bit on our heels. So I think it was a much different field than the USC game, even though it was similar results.
All right, let's take a question from Darnell, and then back to Dana and Jeff.
Yeah, hi, Mark. With the performance of guys like Gideon and off the bench, you had some good performances there from Lohner as well. As you look at the way you do your rotation, is that something that you evaluate every single game, or is that something that you want to fall into a pattern where you have it set every game?
Yeah. So, what we do is we have some guys on this team that are going to continue and improve, that have really, really high ceilings. And so it's just a matter of trying to find but also are inexperienced with the game and can be somewhat error prone, which is the same with every young player. So you try and pick your moments where you can allow them to be really, really successful, put them in a situation, a game feel where they can be really, really successful, and then limit the time when they're on the floor when inexperience can be exposed, right? That's a real challenge. But what it does when you have young guys that you expect to raise up and turn into really special players, it means that your roster and your rotation kind of stays dynamic for the course of the season. As guys lift up and gain some experience and are capable of doing more things. And I think that's certainly what we're hoping to be the case with this team. We hope that our guys will continue getting better, continue getting more comfortable on the floor, continue becoming more error-free. And as guys do that, I think rotation and minutes will change and kind of in a dynamic way. I think that's the way that we are hoping and expecting this to function. But it's very artistic, Sometimes you throw a guy into a tough situation that's not ready and can break him sometimes, or it can set him back. And sometimes you hold him out too long, and that can break him too. And so it's just a matter of picking and choosing your spots and getting lucky sometimes.
Coach, I don't know if we had a chance to ask you about Dave Rose since he suffered his stroke. When was the last time you talked to him? How's he doing? Can you give us an update on his condition?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything that I know is public. I know it was a really, really scary, 36 hours. And then, like Coach does all the time, he's had this miraculous recovery where he's just like, man, this ain't going to slow me down, just like nothing else has. And so, it was, obviously we're all really praying for him and love him so much. And he means so much to this university and this program and all of Cougar Nation. So we've been really, really pleased with the progress. I mean, I think everybody is relieved. I think everyone universally feels relieved with the progress and expect Coach to, be back to his self sooner rather than later. That's just the way he works.
Coach, what do you tell your team about the challenge of playing at St. Mary's? It's a place that BYU hasn't won in quite a few years.
Yeah, I think my guys know. I'll be honest with you. One of the things that I think I've missed on, you're always judging the energy and focus of your team. And we spent a lot of time talking about the Zags. We spent a lot of time focused on what they do well and how to minimize it and what we do. And I really do. I mean, upon reflection, I wonder if we just leaned that way a little bit too much, and I wonder if that was something that had some effect on my guys' energy and aggressiveness. And so we're taking that into consideration as we begin this week on the road, right? So we're trying to spend some larger percentage of the time really focused on us and how we can function and what we do well and how we can do it better. Of course, my guys are fully aware of how physical, how fundamentally sound these St. Mary's teams are, and I think that they'll know more once they've been through it once. But these games always turn into just a physical slugfest. Like it's I think St. Mary's is clearly the most physical team in our league, or at least they have been traditionally, and I expect them to be this season also. And it just turns into a grinded out game. So we've spent some time talking about the potential pace of the game that could feel different. Talking about the space on the floor, how St. Mary's is so effective at minimizing it, and but we're also spending a lot of time just focused on us right now.
All right, sounds like a good place to end. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.